at 9 p.m. Here we keep our foot on the neck of false teachings and challenge Euro-Christian ideologies head-on. We stand on facts over beliefs, insertions and assumptions as we journey together on a path of pure righteousness, guided by true African spirituality or Alkebulan wisdom. Each episode is part of a powerful movement to reclaim our identity, uplift our community, and walk in the power of truth. Tune in nightly at 9 p.m. for transformative insights and hard-hitting discussions as we unmask hidden truths and rise to our fullest potential.
Yeah. What it do, y'all? It's your brother, man, from the motherland, coming to you guys live from the NY, back with another one of that ROD pod. For those that don't know who I am him, Junes, the MBIC. And again, you know I represent that ROD. Last but not least, want to give a shout out to the creators, our ancestors, and my fellow comrades, brothers and sisters all across the entire world. Because without you guys, there would not be no me, right? I hope you guys had a phenomenal day. My day was cool, calm, and collective. My apologies for coming on such late times. I be getting home late. Today I was still doing some moving around and, learning this new profound profession, right? But other than that, man, my day was good. I hope you guys' days was good. But we're gonna talk about the Bible today. Today I wanted to speak on and teach y'all how to handle emotions and let you have a true understanding of emotions and what emotion is and how emotions is also very detrimental when it's pertaining to black people, especially black men, right? I was gonna talk about that. But as I'm looking for I forgot what I was looking for, but I end up going on my TikTok. And then I end up seeing a video of, a brother who is doing the things that I used to do, right? Trying to show brothers and sisters that areas within Africa carry the biblical names and locations, which then justify the fact that the Biblos is our book. Now, before I even give my 1-2 about the matter, I just want you guys to just process this. I mean, I don't know how much I have to stress this and explain this, but I want you guys to process this. Now, prior to colonialism, prior to the invasion of the British, prior to anything pertaining with Euro-Christian ideology, prior to that, African people had an African culture, spoke an African dialect, perceived and carried an African tradition that was never tampered with, tarnished, however you want to call it. Then we get colonized. Then we get removal based on slavery. And yet I'm saying all of these things because out of everything I'm saying, we still can't fathom the fact that after we got colonized, after we got enslaved, after we got shipped and traded, miraculously, names that came out of the Biblos, English names, by the way, has now become this name of cities within an African land. African land. All of a sudden, it's carrying on British Euro-Christian names. And instead of questioning such ideology, we run to the source and think that this is for real. But I want to play the video for you first. Because yes, I had to save the video so you can get an understanding. And then we're going to go search the web. So you guys can get a clear understanding of how these names became such in your land. Again, these are English names, writings, sayings that's being named in African, Black, African dialect is being placed there and is being told that is so-called English, or should I say so-called Alkebulan, so-called our land, our language, and we're gonna hear it. It was stolen from us. But let me play this video, okay? Let's play the video. Play this video for y'all. We're gonna go to First Samuel chapter 21 verse 9 right now, because I want you guys to really pay attention. I want you guys to really pay attention. Let me pull this up. First Samuel 21 and verse 9. First Samuel 21 verse 9. First Samuel 21 verse 9. And I'm gonna read it so you guys can understand. I'm not gonna share my screen. Just understand that this is what I'm reading. It says, "And the priest said, The sword of Goliath, the Philistine, whom thou slowest in the valley of Elah, 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 right? This is what goes on with our people, okay? Elah, and this says ELE, okay? ELE. Make sure ELE. ELE. I want you guys to see it. ELESA, right? Okay, cool. So let me pull this up for you guys so you guys can get a better understanding. Let me write this. Give me a second. Given by the people. Okay? Let me pull this up for you. Okay. So let me see if I can share my screen with you guys. Because I want you guys to catch this. me see if I can share my screen. Put this away. Where my share screen at? Is it this? No. Why is it telling me this? Hold on. Why is it telling me this? Yes, you have access, sir. Why did it tell me that? That's strange. Okay. I said the city of Cameroon called Elijah, because that's what it is. When was that name given, and was it the original name given by the people? This is what this says. The city of Elijah, as referenced in context of Cameroon, does not appear primarily in the historical or contemporary records available in sources. It is possible that the name Elijah is a localized or modern adaptation, which may have culturally or regional significance. Historically, many cities, let me read this again. Historically, many cities and regions in Cameroon have undergone changes in names due to what? Colonialization, local adaptation, or the influence of indigenous language and traditions. If you're referring to a particular historical or indigenous significance of a place named Elijah in Cameroon, more specifically, local or oral histories might provide additional insight, as formal records on certain names or events can sometimes be sparse. For further clarity, consult local Cameroonians' historical archives or oral traditions could be beneficial. So even they don't know. But I want you guys to pay attention to this key word right here: colonialization. The names, think about, I just need you guys to really, really process this through. Ask yourself this question: how can a land and a language that is not English all of a sudden be having an English name which is in the Biblos that was given to you by Englishmen within the Biblos to justify cities? It doesn't make sense. It does not. Like me even saying it, just trying to process and deliver that doesn't even make sense, because it doesn't. A land of Africa, a land of full of Alkebulans, will not all of a sudden name cities after Englishmen. That alone lets you know that mercenaries had their hands in your land. Let's pull up another one. It's not this one I want to read. This one. There we go. This is it right here. This is a bit long. This is a bit long. I'm gonna just I'm gonna allow this to play uh right about here. Matter of fact, mm, yeah, you can put it right here. So let me let the computer play it.
These sources generally reveal the cultural bias of Europeans. They were sometimes based on inaccurate information and
Let me run
cultural
it back.
prejudice. They made Swana religion to
Hold on, let
appear
me
to
run
be
it
a
back.
morass of bizarre beliefs and practices of a people generally believed to be savages and primitive. The accounts of the early European travelers and missionaries, unreliable as they are a useful source for the study of Swana traditional religious beliefs and practices. These sources generally reveal the cultural bias of Europeans. They were sometimes based on inaccurate information and cultural prejudice. They made Swana religion to appear to be a morass of bizarre beliefs and practices of a people generally believed to be savages and primitive, the opposite of the missionaries who represented European civilization. It is therefore not surprising that John Campbell, the pioneer of Swana missions, saw the great end of the London Missionary Society to be the conversion of the heathen and the promotion of their civilization. John Campbell 1815-8. As a result, missionaries came to Africa expecting to find pagans and heathens who knew nothing about God. Such expectations greatly influenced their attitude towards African way of life, African mentality, and what missionary work was going to entail. Robert Moffat, 1840-2236, who claimed that the Botswana never had the slightest idea of idols or of idol service, could have no notion whatever of the object of missionaries. Beyond that of secular interests, interpreted this to mean a total absence of religious structures and a concept of the supreme being.
So, as you guys can see, when they came into our space, they came with the intentions of us not knowing their God, their religion, their ideology, their viewpoints. Okay? They did not come into our land saying, hey, we know the story of your Jesus, but this is the real alternative version to the story you already knew, because these things never existed. We did not know about no savior. We didn't know about no male father create. We didn't know about these things. It was a divine order. There was no gender roles within the within the word. There was no gender roles. There was none of these things that you guys are thinking of. These things did not, and I repeat, these things did not exist. Okay? We was polytheistic people. We knew about Mother Nature. We understood our ancestors. We embraced death. These things was not fearful to us because we did not know about hell, nor did we care to know anything about hell outside of the stuff that we already knew, right? We knew about life. We knew about unity. We knew about we knew about love. We knew about honor. We knew these things. We never indulged ourselves into such teachings. Remember, people, these teachings was forced upon us. We can't minimize that. We have to really stand on the fact that such ideologies was forced upon us. If something is forced upon you, I can't forget that. Right? If I did something harsh to you where it changed my life, it messed up my life, it fractured the way I think, it fractured the way that I walk, the way that I talk, I can't then forgive you and forget about such situations. And it seems like we as people we're doing so much to try to forget that, when knowing that us forgetting that is what's causing us from elevating and connecting back to our ancestral roots, our El Kebulan roots, our African roots. You guys believe, you again, this is a belief. This is not the facts. You guys believe that what you are reading in the Biblos is a story pertaining to you. In fact, it's not. Matter of fact, while I'm talking, let me pull up this. I'm gonna show you where this I'm gonna show you where these stories come from. So the Torah, which you guys consider the Old Testament, is really called the Torah, which is the worship of Ra. Torah, Tua. Matter of fact, let me pull it up so you guys can see this, because I don't want you guys to say that I'm making up my own thing. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Hold on. I'm messing up. Give me a second, guys. Why does it keep doing that? Let me pull this up. Hold on. The heck did this just say? Did I write it wrong? Hold on. Term, but might refer to a concept in African spirit of the wild text, African spiritual systems such as idol, often relate to ancestor venerations, the interconnectedness of the cosmos and the balance. Oh, okay. Oh, see, it's called the Tura, Tuara, and the Kura, the Khura, the original Torah. Let me write that down. Tuara, and hold on, guys. Khura. There we go. Okay. I prefer this one. All right. Gotcha. It won't let me click it, guys. Okay. So let me share my screen again. Share my screen with y'all again. Okay. So okay, so on ChatGPT, it says the term Torah and the Kura hold deep roots in the cosmology and the spiritual practice of ancient Kemet, which is Egypt. The Torah, Tuara, refers to the worship of the invocation of Ra, the solar deities and the symbol of creation and life. This phase encapsulates daily rituals and offerings made in veneration of Ra. Historically, the texts associated with the Torah were central to guiding the spirit of the deceased to the ancestral realm. The concept emphasized continuously between the physical and spiritual realm and represents a form of daily gratitude in connection to the divine energy. The cool Ra pertains to the illumination of wisdom of Ra. It symbolized enlightenment and understanding, the understanding derived from divine knowledge. The term also points to the ancestral practice of seeking wisdom and alignment with the universal truth through Ra's guidance. The concept of the cool Ra is often linked to the intellect and spiritual clarity, framing Ra as a source of transformative power and insight. Both terms demonstrate the enduring influence of the Kemetic theology on later religious and cultural constructs. For example, they have been identified as source of inspiration for the terms in the what? The Abrahamic religions, such as the what? The Torah and the Quran. Okay? Let's get it shaking, people. Though these associates are the result of cultural adaptations and disruption by later civilization. For further studies, you can explore. Okay, there we go. I prefer this. Okay, you guys can look these stuff up. So the Quran is for the Qura, which is the Khura, right? Which is the wisdom of Ra, okay? And the Torah, which is the Tua dash Ra, the worship of Ra, right? And Christianity, the New Testament, is the Helios or the Biblos or the canon or the book of Bel, the Bible. Okay? So when you compile all these things together, and I'm speaking mainly for my African people, you will see that there's absolutely no connection within that story and with us. You have to come into the realization that the story that's in the Biblos has absolutely nothing to do with us. You see, the same way they changing the names and they're putting like, look, this is the land of Joseph, etc., etc. You see how they're able to do that? The same people that's able to identify and tell you that are the same people that cannot prove that these stories exist. They cannot prove that the story of Goliath, because that's where Second Samuel's 20, what was it, 21 verse 9? This is when he took out Goliath. There's no recollection of the story of Goliath that's in the Holy Land. That's in Africa, El Kebulet. See, I can't base, like I said, like I tell you guys before, I can't and you can't neither. We as individuals cannot base our understanding solely on biblical text when the biblical text is not backed by anything but a belief. It's something that you either believe or you don't. That doesn't mean that a person is not connected or a person is wicked and evil, because you have the options to believe or you don't. But religion is teaching us, well, if you don't believe, then you have been overtaken by spirits and demons and this and that. This is the lies. This is the lie. This is what keeps you tied into their story and have individuals believing that this story is really about us. It's not. And I'm about to show you another one. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna read this. Christianity and colonialism. It says Christianity and colonialism are associated with each other by some due to service of Christianity and its various sects, namely the Protestant, Catholicism, and Orthodox, as the state religion of the historical European colonial powers, in which Christians likewise made up the majority. Throughout a variety of methods, Christian missionaries act as the religious arm of the imperialist powers of Europe. According to Edward E. Andrews, Associate Professor of Providence College, Christian missionaries were intentionally portrayed as the visible saints, exemplars of identifying pity in a sea of precise savagery. However, by the time the colonial era drew to a close in the later half of the 20th century, missionaries were viewed as the ideological shock troops for colonial invasions who zealotry blinded them. Colonialism, agents, scribes, and moral alibi. Okay, in some regions, almost all of the colonial population were forcibly turned away from its traditional belief system and forcibly turned towards the Christian faith, which colonizers used as a justification for their what? Extermination of the adherents of other faiths, their enslavements of natives, and their exploitation of land and sea. Again, these things, this book, these biblos, was literally something that they used to justify their atrocities, their invasion, their destruction, the extermination and genocide upon black people. Okay? If I give you a book, let's go back a little bit. Let's just say I run into your crib and I violate everybody that's in the crib. You, your mom, your sister, whoever. I just violate, right? But I keep you content, meaning I do all this violation, but then, I know you filled with anger. You want your get back. You want to attack. You want to kill. You want to destroy. And then I come to you and I say, look, man, I know you mad at me, and you are entitled to. If I was you, I would be highly upset. But I want you to understand that God told me to do this. God told me to make you into a servant because you did not accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. What you think is going to happen? That's exactly what you see is going on. This is what you see going on. And we as people need to realize that and understand, like, yo, these people is really out here playing with me, right? We're not gonna read. We're not gonna read all this background. I just want to read. I just want to read Africa. Let me show you guys this picture. Okay. Okay. This is the man. You see how he got his hands on these children? This is the man and his people that came into your land and renamed names. Say, oh yeah, we're gonna name this place this and that and that. And then show it in the Bible to then justify why such atrocities has occurred in your life. This is the reason why God, look, it's in the Biblos. God told me I was supposed to do this. Don't get mad at me. If you're gonna get mad at God. And guess what, people? We're furious. This is why a lot of people is turning away. This is why a lot of people don't want to believe in God in his whole totality, is because of this ideology. You're telling me God is good all the time. Was he really good when we was being enslaved? Or is this God that we're saying is good all the time is only good for those that he gave the strength to enslave people? See, I don't get mad when I see other nations embrace this ideology because a weapon that was used to put you in a, put you in a proper position, I don't think I would go against it if I was you. So of course I will want you to uphold it. Of course I would love to hear you say Jesus is king. Of course, he's your king. I agree. He's your king. He's the reason why you guys are in the position that you're in. But what I'm not going to agree with is our people trying to take this same story that was shoved down our ancestors' throat to then take it and become immune with it and literally subconsciously put it in their minds to believe that the story is about them. And in reality, it's not. I'm just saying. Look at that. Let me read this. It says, it says, although there was some earlier small-scale efforts that the major missionaries activities from Europe and North America came in the late 19th century during the scramble for Africa. For those that don't know, the scramble for Africa, this is the Berlin Conference. This is the sit down. As you guys will understand that at this time, from that time to now, is over 100 and something years. That's well enough time to reprogram the minds of the youth, because when you read the Leopold letter, the objective was to re-educate the youth. They had absolutely no care for the mothers, the fathers, the grandparents, because they already know that, for one, they was about to be removed. When I mean removed, they're reaching their times. And for two, they already knew that you can't teach them new tricks. But the children, on the other hand, you can teach them. And if you teach them from young, when they get old, they will not depart. Hence, why we have yet to depart from this ideology, right? It says, Christian evangelists were immediately involved in the colonial process in southern Africa. The missionaries discovered increasingly that medical and educational services they could provide were highly welcome to Africans who were not responsive to the theological appeals. When Christian missionaries came to Africa, some native people were very hostile and not accepting of the missionaries in Africa. During this scramble for Africa, there was a realization that African regions had valuable resources from which Western culture could benefit. Christianity was a disguise for Western colonization in those areas to take valuable resources from the native African land. Christianity was a disguise. So, can you imagine you coming into an area and you showing people a name in the Biblos and justify it and say, this is our land, this is God's land, and this is why we're doing this and we're taking over? And when you say, I never heard of that, because what they was doing is they was getting areas that people wasn't living in, where it was no cities, where it was nothing. They will come and they will drop their stick down and say, I'm naming this place such and such. And they put it in a map. They put it in all of these things that, people fast forward to today are going back to open and look, and not realizing that all of this was a trap. Another trap that's keeping us beyond back. While you watching all these other nations elevate, we the only ones deteriorate. Okay, we the only ones that's deteriorating out here, and nobody's paying attention to that. Okay, where was I? It says, despite the rush to Africa for its goods, in the book of A History of Africa by J.D. Fagg, he stated mid and late 19th century Europeans were generally convinced that their Christian scientific and industrial society was interpsychologically far superior to any that African had produced. The exploitations of natural resources can contribute to the hostility of African natives towards European colonizers. Even though there were some Christian missionaries that went about colonizing the native Africans in unchristian ways, not showing quality except of a Christian, there sorry, where was I? Even though there was some Christian missionaries that went about colonizing the native Africans in unchristian ways, not showing qualities exceptions of a Christian, there were some missionaries who were truly devoted to colonizing through peaceful means, and truly through and truly thought that the people of Africa needed to be taught that Jesus was their savior. Now you got David Livingstone, 1813, 1873, Scottish missionary, right? You got all these people that literally had their hands in our land. Okay? In the French West Africa in 1930, a serious debate emerged between the French missionaries on one side and the upper class local leaderships that had been attending French schools in preparation for eventual leadership. Many of them had become Marxists, and French officials worried that they were creating their own Frankenstein monster. The French shift priority to set up rural schools for the poor low class in an effort to support indigenous African culture and produce reliable collaborators with the French regime. See, so they wanted to open up schools, right? And embrace like, oh yeah, bring your African culture. Yes, bring it, bring it. But it got to be under the guidelines of Euro-Christian ideology, similar to what you see now. Oh yeah, bring in the African. Yes, that's an African name, African God name. But it still got to be under the guidelines of the Euro-Christian ideology. So when you hear brothers saying the term Sunini, Nanini as a father, they're upholding the regime of the Euro-Christian ideology. Okay? I just wanted to just throw that out there. But I'm not gonna continue going on. Literally have an upset stomach, and we are gonna have to cut this thing short. I will be back tomorrow if it be the Creator's will, and we will continue diving. I got a lot more things to touch on. Like I said, we rebuilding the brand. I was thinking about starting something called Life Coaching with Jones, where I sit down with you guys, give you some life coaching tips. I see that you guys are already receptive to that. You guys want to see the other side of me, the professional side of me, and I feel like I have to do that because, again, this is my profession. This is what I do for a living. And definitely want to minister and educate and guide you guys and, and navigate you guys on a path of pure righteousness. Because I don't just talk it, I walk it. So with that being said, people, it's your brother man from the motherland. Continue supporting, like, comment, share. If it's your first time, I hope it's not your last time. If it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, that means I'm still on your mind. That means we're still on that grind. And that grind is to do what? Out to go get yours, because I am in the pursuit to go get mine. It's your brother man. You understand? And I'ma holler. One.